Greetings and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this short series of videos, I'm addressing the question of what is functional medicine, how does it differ from conventional medicine, is it right for me, and what are the steps that I can take to incorporate a more functional-based practice into my life so that I can live in a state of health versus one of disease. The purpose of this video is to address the question of what makes functional medicine different. I mean, how is this different from conventional medicine in which we arrive at a defined diagnostic state and then are prescribed a drug? So for example, at a hemoglobin A1C of 5.7, you are now deemed pre-diabetic and your doctor might recommend a drug. What happened when you had a hemoglobin A1C of 5.6 or when it went up from 5.4 to 5.6? That's never addressed. We also in the last video talked about hypertensive disease. So you're hypertensive when you got a blood pressure of 140 over 90, but what about when it was 135 over 85? Didn't that merit some attention? So one of the significant differences between functional medicine and allopathic or conventional medicine, in which we assign drugs to establish diagnoses based on metrics, is that we begin to deconstruct the symptoms into a set of interrelated systems. So instead of just saying you're hypertensive, you begin to ask the question of what are the nutritional deficiencies contributing to this? What are the stresses? What is causing vascular reactivity and stiffness? How do our hormonal levels help us to optimize this diagnosis of hypertension? Because when you deconstruct a conventional diagnosis into a series of interrelated, systematic, and hierarchical systems that need to fit together, we can begin to turn around all aspects of disease. Another significant difference between natural functional medicine and conventional medicine is that we use supplements, nutrition, and hormones. What this does is that we use a certain testing to define what it is that's contributing to a certain diagnosis, and then we can use natural products to help to turn around this diagnosis. For example, with the diagnosis of hypertension, I can guarantee you that there are 5,000 scientific papers out there that address hypertensive disease and low magnesium. So when you understand this, when you understand the correct way to measure magnesium in the body and the correct way to use supplementation to replace this lowered magnesium, then we can begin to make some changes and apply the nutritional deficiency to begin to lower something like a hypertensive disease. Another thing which is important is there's a greater emphasis on patient empowerment and education. No longer are you going to be just the passive recipient of a drug dictated to you by the pharmaceutical companies. Because going forward, natural health, functional healing, and holistic healing is a collaborative process. This is a dialogue and a communication that is being developed between you and your healthcare team to understand how your biology is working and the steps that you can take to improve it, how your environment is influencing your state of health, and finally, how your mindset, your thinking, and your perceptions can all contribute collectively to a state of health versus a state of disease. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying it's time to throw out the baby with the bathwater. I'm not saying don't take any drugs or don't take any medications. I mean, there are lots of opportunities in conventional medicine where a drug can either help us to mind the gap, to sort of bide some time until we make some other interventions and some other changes to turn around this person's biology. And modern medicine is fantastic, let me tell you. I mean, if I break my leg, give me a steady-handed surgeon, a course of antibiotics, and a titanium rod to get me back on my feet again. The beauty of all this is that functional and conventional medicine can coexist. They don't need to be mutually exclusive of one another. And I think that this is one of the problems that we find ourselves into, is that we become almost kind of like nihilists. I mean, saying all conventional medicine is bad or all natural and alternative medicine is good. Don't get me wrong, I have seen plenty of people who following courses of natural and alternative medicine prescribed to them by people who may not have had the experience or the knowledge to make good recommendations actually got hurt. I have seen this more than once, and I'm making these videos. I'm trying to empower you guys to take control of your own healthcare with good science, with good practice, with the 15 years of experience that I bring to this channel in doing functional and alternative medicine so that you don't get hurt. So the bottom line of this video is it's time to rethink health versus disease. There are any number of different opportunities that we can make measurements to assess our state of health, to assess where we are on that path, that progression from a state of health to one of disease. And we don't need to just passively sit back and wait until our blood pressure numbers click up to 140/90 until somebody decides to do something about it. We can begin to make the measurements, we can begin to make the assessments, we can begin to understand how our biology, biochemistry, and physiology have broken down to now precipitate a state of disease. All right, in this video, I alluded to a couple of considerations that are going to help you to make good decisions about your functional or natural medicine pathway. And one of the most important things is to know who is the practitioner who is making these evaluations. What is their level of education, of experience, and knowledge of the way to use these non-allopathic approaches to turn around all aspects of health? So stay tuned. In this next video, I'm going to address the question, who can you trust in natural medicine? And as always, I'm making these videos to empower you guys to be best stewards of your own healthcare. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you would like to know about this subject, and I'll make a video to address that. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video, and take care.